I have finally finished up Andor Season 2. I watched the first episode at the start of the week and binged the rest of it in two separate batches a bit later on. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I was a fucking idiot for not watching this much sooner. The great writing is still there, and so is the great action, characters, and everything else that I loved about Season 1. So my enjoyment is very, very understandable. It carries a lot of things over from Season 1, whilst also pushing things forward even more. The show covers the final years of what is called the Dark Times era, which is between episodes 3 and episode 4, obviously. And this probably has to be one of my favorite depictions of the Empire in just any Star Wars related media in general, because it feels so genuine to real history, whilst also keeping that Star Wars flair to it. Like Coruscant, how it went from this Art Deco inspired beauty of a planet to under the Empire, it's a more brutalist in design. It really shows how the Empire kind of sucked the life out of Coruscant and making it much less beautiful as a result. It went from a shining beacon of the galaxy to just another city. This can even be seen in the Senate, where the walls are a stark white, and the Senate Guard went from these, basically knights in armor to basically Imperials with a blue jacket. It really highlights how much the Empire has changed the galaxy and the Republic by just in these little places alone. Like, even places where you think, oh, things would be untouched. No, they changed it because they could. They're in control now, whether you like it or not. Speaking of Coruscant, there's a lot of on-location filming. Not on Coruscant itself, but in real-life locations here on Earth. And how it's meshed with the Coruscant itself, I didn't notice. Like, I literally had someone point out, someone pointed it out on Reddit, and I'm just like, wait, really? What the fuck? And it's a really good blend between real life and what's Coruscant. It doesn't come off as jarring. It's very well integrated to the scene, and it's genuinely amazing. I really like it. The same is said for Gorman, which we spend a good amount of time on, and oh god, that massacre. It is genuinely horrifying because the Empire planned it from the beginning, and it was in the making for years until it happened, and it genuinely is terrifying when you think about it, because this kind of thing happens in real life. Like, we're seeing this now down in America right now. We're seeing this in places around the world, and it's even happened in our history. And Andor, it's a reflection of that. It's genuinely terrifying. And of course, how the Empire starts it, they have one of their snipers pick off their own to make it look like the Gorman are, they're going the violent route, giving the Empire justification to start wiping them out. And and the show doesn't chicken out. It sits you amongst the chaos and just lets you take it in. It is genuinely terrible to watch, and in a good way. It's terrible in a good way, because because the time you spend with the Gorman in general, it makes you feel all the worse for them when everything just begins to fall apart and everyone's beginning to realize, oh god, we were played. But yeah, this is probably my favorite depiction of the Empire. It is just so good. It was also in Gorman we got the origin of K2SO, which was probably my favorite character from Rogue One. And yeah, apparently there's a comic that also covers the origin, and apparently that was retconned, but I have not read the comic, so I am not going to comment on it. I will say this, it is nice to have Alan Tudyk back, because he was genuinely one of the funniest characters in Rogue One, and he does bring some much needed levity when needed. The same goes for Ben Mendelsohn, I think that's his name, the guy who plays Krennic. He is genuinely terrifying in this, especially in the interrogation of Dedra Meero, because you could just tell how fucking pissed he is that, thanks to her, the Death Star basically leaked, and now that the rebels know about it, and he is just out for blood, and it is so cathartic. And yeah, every scene he's in, he's just absolutely going for it, and I love it. Guy's a great actor. Probably the personal highlight of the season for me is Mon Mothma in that scene in the Senate. And yeah, her speech basically boils down, the death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil, which rings true even more today, especially in the Trump administration, with the Epstein file releases and how they're trying to, like, cover all that up. Boy, never thought I'd bring that into the video, but here I am. Overall, the production design is just really, really, really good for, like, no fucking reason. Like, it is a lot of the technology used in the show is very, very cassette futurism, much like the original 3 films, and I just love cassette futurism in general because it has this bulky, used aesthetic to it. It just looks pleasing to the eye. It's the 70s viewed the future and all that, and that's kind of like what I like about Star Wars. It has this very used aesthetic, and Andor really falls into that used aesthetic. Everything has like either a scuff mark or, like the printing on the keys is slightly worn, or, like there's footprints on the, the floor and whatnot from like water and all that. It really understands what like Lucas wanted and having everything feel lived in, and it does that in spades. Like what's called the safe house apartment. Like there are parts of it that are just not really well maintained, and you could see that by like the tarping on the walls and just how it looks in general, and the lighting really accentuates, like, it's very dim, but not dim enough where you can't see shit, unlike some other shows. It allows you to take in the details and go, oh man, this apartment's a shithole. The show isn't just like stone-faced the entire time. There are some genuine moments of absolute hilarity, such as Andor when he's trying to get his radio up and running in the TIE fighter, and he's pulling wires and whatnot, and he crosses 2, and that ignites the engine, sending the TIE fighter spinning. And then it cuts to another scene, but you can imagine exactly what was happening inside, and all the fucking swears he was probably uttering. Fuck, shit, ow, fucker. Oh god. It also does double duty in a way, because it highlights that he's not familiar with this TIE fighter prototype, and it really informs that he's kind of out of his depth in this situation, and when he finally figures it out, you kind of feel, you feel happy for him in a way, because, he's actually making it somewhere. It's just good writing in general, and that's what Andor is. It's very well written, and it's very enjoyable, and I can't help but recommend it enough to anyone, like, remotely curious. It's really good Star Wars. It's probably the best Star Wars we've got since The Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith, and definitely the best Star Wars we've got in a long time. I can't help but recommend it enough. Andor is genuinely a once-in-a-lifetime Star Wars show, and I hope for anyone who watches it after this video, you enjoy it as much as I did, if not more. This has been Lucky Kennedy. Peace out.